Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into this Football Friday as the Birds get ready to face Jonathan Gannon, the worst human to ever exist, the worst defensive coordinator my eyes have ever seen, the most fraudulent individual on the planet. That's right, and he's going to walk into your building. It better be so damn loud that the Eagles players will complain that it's too damn loud. Oh, what's that? They already did that? Landon Dickerson is saying that, well, I guess I have to learn sign language. And then the rest of the crew is saying, I need to hear my offense when I'm walking up to the line of scrimmage. It's too damn loud at the link. Oh, my God. I cannot believe we are now in the position of the team going after the fans for being too rowdy in their own stadium. Wow. Yeah, I think it's terrible. I think it's horrible. I think it's pathetic that we are in this position. Do not tell me the reason why this offense isn't clicking and they're not doing well and their wide receiver screens don't work and they're 50-50 balls downfield for the explosive plays. That's not because of the fans going rowdy when they're trying to make adjustments at the line. All right? I promise you that. We're at the point now where Brian Johnson is discussing how all of these plays pretty much, and I'll read it to you exactly how it was laid out. Brian Johnson had a media press conference the other day, and he was talking about the RPOs. And he says, it was interesting. Like sometimes you call some of these RPOs, and based on the defense you get presented, it could be a run. It could be a pass. Very rarely are we in a situation where we're only calling runs or we're only calling passes or we're only calling screens. These plays have a bunch of different options, and they can unfold a bunch of different ways based on what you're getting defensively. And from just the surface, I understand that. You're reading and reacting to the defense. Therefore, you see what they're giving you, and you theoretically take what they're giving you. Fine. Okay. But when your offense isn't doing as well as it should, and when you're not maximizing your position players, and when you're having a difficult time really blossoming and really finding rhythm within your calling, maybe you should implement more simplistic stuff. Maybe you should design things where no matter what, let's scheme somebody, let's get the football to this spot. Let this be an automatic run no matter what. Let's not play any games. Let's commit to the run and wearing you down. I don't know why it needs to be so complicated, and it's just so bang your head against the wall. It's this way, it's this way. Well, that way isn't really working for me, okay? That way's not really doing what I need it to do. Maybe a part of the problem is exactly what Brian Johnson mentioned. It's like there's so much happening here. There's so much into it. There's so much that it's very complicated. This, it's that, it's this, it's that. And then I know some are probably saying, well, it's on the decision-making of the quarterback. If the quarterback made better decisions, then maybe we're not in this predicament. But I don't see it that way, because your job as a coaching staff is to do what's best for your players and put them in a position to succeed. And if right now the offense doesn't really have an identity and there truly isn't a play-by-play flow, and there's nothing that really runs off of one another and it's all over the place, you have to take control. That's your job. Your job is to take control of the offense and make it make sense. Therefore, if it's not working, let's add a wrinkle. Let's remove a wrinkle. Let's get back to simplistic stuff. Let's maybe dial it back a bit where there's not as many options coming off of one play, and let's commit to running the ball down your throat. Let's commit to certain passing plays where the run isn't even an option in the play. I'm just trying to find answers because what they've been doing has clearly made A.J. Brown so angry that he's not even speaking to anybody. Once again, he dips and doesn't speak to the media. Now, maybe that there's something like a Friday news dump where he'll speak to the media on Friday. And I guess the Friday news dump theory only matters, though, if he was going to come out on fire and start ripping apart people. Because if he just plays the whole I was frustrated card and it's like I just didn't have anything nice to say because I was mad at maybe the way, some things went or whatever. I don't know. Like he can find a way to wiggle out of this. And if he was waiting to speak on Friday for a, quote, Friday news dump, the only way that would matter, because a Friday's news dump is all about making sure that the storylines fade into the weekend and no one really grabs onto it. Not that you can slide away from any of us here, okay? There's nothing you can do. Whether it's a Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, a day that doesn't even exist on the calendar, we'll find it, we'll talk about it, especially when it's your best player who decides that he doesn't want to talk to anybody. Look at Devontae Smith, man. What a pro. What an absolute pro. He is standing in front of his locker and he's taking all the questions. He's answering everything. Someone called into WIP yesterday and told me and John Johnson that the media is creating this narrative that A.J. Brown's a monster. No. Because he could do exactly what Devontae Smith is doing. He could do exactly what the rest of his team is doing. You know who decides I'm going to duck questions? Quez Watkins. You know what Quez Watkins is? A loser. And I don't think A.J. Brown is a loser, but I'm saying that this is a character flaw on him, and he's following someone who doesn't have winning pedigree like Quez Watkins in this particular instance. So man up, and I expect him to say something, but the more and more he holds this off, well, the more and more we got to dive into it and ask for more. Like why? Why were you so quiet? Why wouldn't you answer these questions after the game? What was it that you said wouldn't be too nice? Like we need the answers, and we'll start attacking it. Okay, so what do you demand this Sunday is a question that I'm going to ask. And for me, it's very simple. The answer is turnovers. Do not turn over the football. I want a clean, crisp game. Well, bro, you know that's not going to happen because they don't play that way. Because we're 15 games into the season and it's automatic that they will turn the ball over. That's what the quarterback does. Fair enough, but that's what I demand. And I also demand no stupid penalties. If it's a holding on an offensive lineman working his ass off and he happens to get beat on a particular play, I can live with that stuff, all right? There's some things within the game that it's just going to happen. It's unfortunate, but I can live with. What I can't live with is Jalen Carter not getting off the field where the Giants have a 4th and 6, which then goes to a 4th and 1, and then that keeps the Giants' drive alive. If you do that with Kyler Murray, with McBride, with any of these guys, I don't know, Connor running the football, maybe it ends up backfiring, and you can't turn the ball over and give them an easy touchdown like you gave Saquon Barkley with the nice, easy run. Now, I don't anticipate someone like Zacchaeus running into Boston Scott as soon as the second half begins, but I can't rule anything out because if there's one thing to describe this football team, it's mayhem. It's chaos. You can never, ever, ever, ever think you're safe because when it's the 4 quarters of action for Philadelphia Eagles, anything can happen. And I mean truly anything can happen. So that's what I'm demanding against Jonathan Gannon. And yeah, I hate Jonathan Gannon. I hate Jonathan Gannon so much. And do I feel any differently because Sean Desai ended up being a failure? No, not at all. I still can't stand him. I think he's a fraud. We played his sound bites the other day, and it's hilarious because the guy is just such a weasel, okay? He's such a little wimp. I can't stand him. And this is going to be his Super Bowl. So I'd imagine they are inspired to play. And I'm not buying into the fact that, well, the Cardinals are trying to lose. These players don't play that way. Say that to the Houston Texans last year before they made a big firing. And then here comes D'Amico, obviously, and Stroud. And they've definitely turned the tides real quick, but these guys go out there and they try and play. Kyler Murray's trying to prove himself. Jonathan Gannon wants to show, especially this fan base, he knows it's going to be toxic. They're coming in here with the plan. They're coming in here with the mission. They're not looking for a draft pick right now. They're trying to prove their worth in this league. So I expect them to give us their best shot. And maybe this is similar to the New York Giants game, meaning you could turn the football over a couple times and the talent disparity is so wide and it's such a large margin that it's irrelevant. You can make mistakes like Dallas Goedert slipping and then force the other team to get an easy pick six, and now all of a sudden the game's tighter, the game's closer, you win by 3 instead of 10. I mean, that's definitely possible, and then your talent just overperforms their talent, even with poor coaching, even with maybe the quarterback not playing sharp. Although his numbers were very good against the Giants, and the offense did do some good things. And you could say if you didn't have the pick six and if you didn't have the stupid special teams play, then you're winning by a larger margin. Yeah, but every single game has that. And if not, it's for the other team. If Kansas City didn't have a wide open drop, if Buffalo in overtime didn't have a miscue, you can do that for every single game. I was listening to Dave Zangaro and Reuben Frank on their Eagle Eye pod, and they've been around a long time. They've been in a lot of locker rooms, and I really value their opinion. I think they do an amazing job. And one of the things Dave Zangaro mentioned is how when he was in the locker room after the game, he couldn't really quantify it by any means because it's hard. He's really trying to describe a vibe. You can't touch it. It's just a feeling. But, man, after that win against the Giants, it was such a bizarre feeling in that room. And I don't know how you fix that. Does winning cure all? You think. But they won that football game, and there was no sense of life, and I don't want them popping champagne and acting like the Phillies after they win the NLDS, after they win the NLCS in advance to the World Series. By no means do I want them jumping around with goggles on so champagne doesn't get in their eyes, but there has to be a happy medium between miserable people and what I just mentioned with the Phillies when they advance in the postseason. They're not enjoying anything, and it's very difficult to put your hands on it, but something doesn't feel right. So when you look at the record with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni over the last X amount of years, when you look at the playoff berths by Nick Sirianni since taking over, he hasn't missed the postseason. There's something to be said about maybe them having a winning pedigree compared to some of these other teams in the NFC, like Dallas, where it's obvious that they're going to lose at some point, like the Detroit Lions. Are they serious? Are they for real? Absolutely not. It's the Detroit Lions. So there's experience with the Eagles, but almost experience might scare me right now because you know who's experienced? James Bradbury, and that's been a disaster. You know who's experienced? Brandon Graham, and that hasn't really worked out. I'd label Josh Sweat as experienced at this point, and his snap count is through the roof, and they're getting zero pressure. Why are they getting zero pressure? Jalen Carter hits a rookie wall. Jordan Davis, you could tell that they don't really value what maybe those two are bringing to the table right now on a final drive against the stinking New York Giants. Now, maybe you could make the argument that I don't trust the coaching staff enough to actually come up with the right plan anyway, so maybe they should be in there because what they're doing clearly isn't getting home, and they're not getting to the quarterback anyway. So could Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, could those guys be worse? Maybe not. Maybe it ends up being the same, but just because I have my doubts on what the coaching staff has done to this point this season, well, I'm going to put that into the equation that maybe they're screwing that up too. But yeah, I mean, Josh Sweat, they're not getting home. Their experience right now that you rely on, and Fletch is doing fine. By no means am I saying that this is like a Fletcher Cox is a problem thing, or, you know, Brandon Graham is an absolute problem thing. It's just more about, well, the experience that we normally hold our hat on. James Bradbury's experienced as hell, and these guys are targeting him left and right. And think about this. Whenever Darius Slay is back with Ringo, every team's going to stare right at Ringo. A lot's going to be on his hands. And I'm not saying he can't adapt and he can't accept that role. I'm actually intrigued and excited to see if he can. But yeah, I mean, you're in a tough spot for me. You're in a big-time tough spot for me, and it's very difficult. What's not difficult, everybody, is HelloFresh. Quite frankly, it's the opposite. They're the greatest, and it's very simple and easy to use. So what is HelloFresh, you ask? It's a fantastic question. You get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. There's nothing worse than getting stuck into that recipe rut around dinner time. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week. So there's always something so delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and all the meal planning for you. The ingredients arrive right at your doorstep, and it is pre-portioned with step-by-step recipe cards. It doesn't get much easier than that. It's also very cost efficient because HelloFresh is 25% less expensive than takeout. So that means you get easy home-cooked meals on the table and even more money back in your pocket. Go to HelloFresh.com/50broads and use code 50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. That's code 50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. You can click the link down below in the description. It'll take you right there. Me and my wife use it pretty much every single night, and it has changed my life in the kitchen, and it could change yours as well. Don't be a fool and join the HelloFresh family. Okay, off to the Anytime Hotline. Let's run it.
All right. Thoughts on Eagles Cardinals on Sunday, New Year's Eve? I'm going to be telling you this right now. I fucking hate Jonathan Gannon. I fucking hate his punchable face. And more importantly, I blame him for us losing in the Super Bowl. He was more focused on getting that damn head coaching job over putting together an effective defensive game plan. So all that being said, and all that out of the way, I want a full 60-minute game. I know it's probably not going to happen. I want a full 60-minute game in which both sides of the ball play a clean game, no dumb penalties, no stupid mistakes, just a full, clean, stress-free 60-minute game. Get this win to wrap up the NFC East. That's all not going to happen, man. But let's be real, man. That's the one thing I'm asking for, dude. I've had a week from fucking hell. I just want to see the Eagles team play a clean game. That's it. All I'm asking. Hope you have a great New Year, man. Hope you and your family have a great New Year. Let's go, Birds.
Thanks, man. To you and your family as well. And maybe it's time. Maybe it legitimately is time. And for all the comments about we haven't played our best ball yet, we haven't put it together, and me I've been losing my mind essentially, saying it's 15 games in. When is that going to change? It probably should have changed 7, 8, 9 games in. At this rate, you are who you are. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. Now, I'm not buying into it fully, but I'm looking for optimism, and I'm trying my best. Truthfully, I don't like feeling this way. I truly don't want to be this miserable prick. I'm only this miserable prick because the 49ers whooped your ass at home when you had the game highlighted. There were actually some fans out there that brought up to me, Broach, you know how much they hate Gannon. You know how much this has been targeted. Nick Sirianni on WIP says, I want to make him frickin' uncomfortable. Wait a second. The coach wants it to be obnoxious and loud, yet the players say stop being obnoxious and loud. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that they're going through such a disgraceful time that they feel it's necessary to take shots at the fans. The way that I label this, and if you didn't hear, there's pretty much been documents of the players being upset with the home crowd because it's supposed to be home field advantage. And deep down, there is some truth to it. They're saying that the Eagles are too loud when it's supposed to be a quieter time so their offense can operate. Instead, they got to work through silent counts, and that's a disgrace. It should never happen when you're playing at the Link. And while there is truth to that, because you're a disaster right now, you don't have the ability, honestly, to call that out. You guys stink. You guys have not been good. You guys are failing. You're not playing up to par. You're not playing up to your standard. Even if you think that deep down internally you have to be quiet and maybe go to the Eagles, whoever runs the board and runs the screen and runs the jumbotrons, like, hey, maybe we can do something to quiet everybody down, whatever. Find ways inside the Eagles organization to pluck at it and see if you can make improvement. What you don't do is stand in front of a mic and say, should I learn sign language? Like, come on, man. I think that is absolutely pathetic. And right now, whether the Eagles are right or wrong, what it comes down to me is whatever they do, we all have that one family member, that one friend, that one acquaintance. Whenever their presence is nearby, just shut up. Shut up. You might not even be doing anything wrong, but you're annoying me. Okay, you did something wrong in the past that I can't ever forget about. I don't like you. Right now, the Eagles are that for me. Like, stop it. I don't care what you say. I don't care if there's validity to it. Stop it. And they're also like a bully. I got a couple different examples of my feelings towards them when it comes to this predicament of fan versus team. All right, they're a bully. And what I mean is, normally when a bully bullies someone, there's deeper issues inside. But they're using that as almost their defensive mechanism, or they're trying to get out their frustrations that they have internally, so they take shots at other people. That's what the Eagles' offense is doing right now. You know why your offense is subpar? Because your screen passes don't work. You have predictable plays. Your quarterback's turning the football over. Your wide receivers aren't happy because I don't think they believe in any of the design. That's why. All right, it's not because of Joe from West Philly in section 212 that had too many Bud Lights. Just not the case. It's not the case at all. Oh, man. Maybe they turn it around, though. Huh, bros? Maybe they turn it around. Maybe this is the game. After all the stressful times, after all 4 quarters that make us really want to dig our head in the dirt, maybe against Gannon. Oh, yeah, this is one thing I heard. The game's been highlighted. It's Gannon. Whoa, the game was highlighted against San Fran. And how did that pan out? Not good. Not good. And I don't think the players hate JG as much as we hate JG. So I don't think they have that same level of venom, if you will.
Happy Football Friday to you, bros. Big game here. Because if you win these last 2, it doesn't matter what Dallas does, you'll get the 2 seed. So it's a big game. And I know a lot of Eagles fans are down right now, but I'm calling in to tell you, man, all hope is not lost. All right, when you got a locker room with Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, these guys can play ball, all right? So, I'm a little worried about the play calling. I think we need to run the hell out of the ball on Sunday. And I want to wipe the ass with Jonathan Gannon. That's what I want to do. I want him to be looking up at that scoreboard and say, holy hell, they hung that on us? They put up 52, 50, whatever the hell. Eagles got to kick ass Sunday. Go Birds.
52! Dude, if they put up 52, I'm going streaking. If they put up 52, we're doing a Broads Media live stream, 10 o'clock at night down Broad. All right, we'll have people lined up like it's the Stanley Cup parade. Speaking of the Stanley Cup, I'm just saying, you better watch out, baby, because Bobby Brink and Konechny and John Tortorella See, I wish I could feel that way about the Birds. I don't anymore. They broke me. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, you brought up the division and the NFC and what can we do with that? Oh, okay. We have to root for Dallas. It is what it is. You need the Lions to lose. The game is in Dallas, which gives Dallas an advantage. The spread is around 5, maybe 5 points or so, which does lean towards Dallas. And like I said, they're playing at home. They're in position to do it. This is why it's simple for me, and it won't be hard to root for Dallas. And it doesn't mean that you have to fist pump, okay? It doesn't mean you got to cheer when they score because, ew, that's sick. That's disgusting. But maybe you do an acknowledgement head nod. When you're walking in the park in the middle of July and you're going to get fresh air, you put on some AirPods. Maybe you smoke something that's a little green. You're just getting some fresh air. You see someone, You close your mouth, you close your lips, you do the mini 45-degree head nod of acknowledgement. You're just acknowledging the touchdown. You're not cheering for the touchdown. And the reason why it's easy for me, let's say, and I'm just going to use random numbers, let's say the Cowboys win 13 games this year. Or let's say they win 12 games this year. They're not winning anything. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. They'll probably fail big time on the road against a better opponent. It's just not going to go very well for them. Whether they win against the Lions or not, the end result, in my eyes, stays the same. The Dallas Cowboys shrink when the moment gets the biggest. Now I'm seeing Dak Prescott might get a $55 to $60 million deal, and they're hopeful that they can get the negotiations done. Hey, by all means, I don't think Dak is a bum by any means. I think many organizations would love to have his tenure, and, you know, yeah, there's a lot worse you could do than Dak Prescott. The money is the money. The money continues to grow over and over again, but whatever. That's not really here nor there. The point is, whether they win one game or not, one extra game, I don't see that being the difference in them all of a sudden, wow, they got the power to go win a Super Bowl. So one more win. So what? So be it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, first I just want to say I stumbled across your show, and this is one of the best with the most honest, real information reactions being given.
Oh.
All right, on to the birds.
Oh.
What the fuck is going on?
Well, thank you.
I don't even know who these fans are that are optimistic. We have not played one good game all season. Our red flag, was that not eye-opening to anybody else? I want to believe that going into these last games and the playoffs is a different mental state, and everyone's going to step up. But our defense can't stop anybody. We love third downs. Teams might as well wait till they're in that position and then move the sticks. Our offense is trying to do too much and not enough at the same time. Just over here waiting on someone to step up. Fucking terrible. But congratulations on the baby, and I hope that she deserves.
Oh, no, she cut off. No, I hope what? She deserves what? No! What does she deserve? What does she deserve? She deserves a fat W. She deserves a second W. What was that, Jameis Winston? That's me eating W's. Now, if you're listening on audio, you're probably thinking, what the hell was that? It's a fantastic question. And by the way, speaking of audio, if you're listening on YouTube, and that's your normal way of going about Broads Media here, just know that you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Search Sports Talk with Broads. Search Broads Media. And hey, leave a 5-star rating and a review. It goes a really long way. I greatly appreciate it. You could take Broads on the road with you. Think about this, all right? You're driving. It's 4 o'clock on the weekend. Hey, let's put on a Football Friday pod. Maybe your wife, your significant other is in the car next to you, and you're like, you know what, be great, babe? And she's like, hey, what? If we put on that fucking Maniac. Oh, yeah, I would love to. Bang! It's right there. It's accessible for you. Thank you so much for the kind words. I don't have optimism. I don't have optimism at all. I'm scared. I'm scared. I shouldn't be scared about this particular matchup, okay? I shouldn't be scared about the Arizona Cardinals. And deep down, they should have enough talent in the talent disparity department that it shouldn't bite them in the ass. Not against them. And if it does, well, then that opens up a whole nother can of worms. And then this upcoming week will be even more devastating than it probably already will be. And it does suck because, man, I was so confident in this group. I felt so good. They had the it factor. They knew how to win games. But ever since San Fran, I have to assess them differently. And I'm miserable. I am absolutely miserable. And, you know, look, I get it. I'm a highly emotional guy. And I love what I do. I wouldn't change it for the world. This has been a fantastic ride, a fantastic journey, and I'm enjoying the whole thing. When it goes through spurts like this, though, and I'm in a funk, and I'm only in a funk because they're giving me the funk. I just react, right? I say that a lot. Don't get mad at me, get mad at the teams, because the funk I'm in and the miserable prick that I am, it's because of them. I'm just reacting to it. I've been so down for so long now week after week after week. San Fran, Dallas, Seattle, even after the Giants. Now here we go again. It's a long time of sitting in filth, sitting in hatred, sitting in puke, sitting in a dirty ass diaper. I can say that now. Trust me. I see these things every single night. Last night I ripped through 3 diapers at 3 a.m. because she just kept going and going and going. It was absurd. I want to feel happy again. And for as low as this is, the highs are magnificent. And I miss that high. I'm missing the high of adrenaline of a great Eagles team, of a great football team, of a team that I love. Instead, we got something similar to the Ben Simmons, hey, stay on your side. Stay on your side. Remember Sean Rodriguez? Sean Rodriguez saying things about the fans. Oh, they don't know. They don't know. Or the boo. And I forget exactly what the quote was from Sean Rodriguez. But the point is, it's never a good idea to attack the fans, and that's where we are instead of appreciating greatness. Sean Rodriguez quote about the Phillies fans. I didn't expect to see this. Sean Rodriguez says, sorry to Phillies fans, admit he used the wrong word. Oh, he called us entitled. We're entitled. Oh, okay. Entitled. Okay. Okay. Or I demand excellence. Or I demand good play. Excellence is unfair. I don't demand excellence. I misspoke there. Because as I alluded to in the beginning of the show, I'm okay with a couple penalties. I say clean game if you're working your ass off and there's a whole offensive lineman. Like, that stuff happens. It's cleaning up the mental mistakes, the errors that are very fixable, the errors that are something that you're in control over. Sometimes the other player one-on-one will beat you. It happens. It's the sport. It happens. Can you get off the field? So I'm not expecting, like, perfection by any means. But I expect good football. Does that make me entitled then? Sean Rodriguez? Oh, man, Sean Rodriguez. Where did this go? I don't know. Hey, before we get out of here, let me tell you about TickPick. Their ticket prices will beat any of the major competing marketplaces, and TickPick is so confident about it, they guarantee it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you get 110% of the difference in form of TickPick credit. And there's upfront pricing, so no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price than on other sites, because the price you see on TickPick is the price you'll pay at checkout, period, end of story. There's no added service fees, hidden fees, or otherwise. If you click the link down below in the description, my promo code is activated with that link. You will get $10 off your purchase, so go check out the Flyers. Go check out the Sixers. Go check out all of the other teams that are out of market if you're a listener from a different city. Or maybe go look for a concert. Get yourself to an event today utilizing TickPick promo code BRODES. Gets you free money. It's a no-brainer. All right, everybody, I love you to death. Go Birds.